In this video, because you want to see how the side-to-side VPN works and how to configure the side-to-side VPN between two MIKROTIK devices. If you do not know how a VPN works theoretically, I recommend that you visit the Cerberus YouTube channel, which explains in detail how it works as side-by-side VPN and also remote access. In this occasion, I am going to set up a VPN. I need a site between two MIKROTIK computers having said that. Let's go with the configuration. The image you are seeing below is the topology in which I am going to work. Don't worry if you don't memorize all the details of the IP address of the topology as such, since on the video goes I will show you everything in great detail. What you should know regarding this, the only thing that interesting me is that you keep in mind that M1 is going to generate or create a site VPN with M2. These are the public IP address. These are the private IP shares of the LAN networks. In MIKROTIK equipment, the creation or intuitive creation layer basic consists of 5 steps. The first is to create a profile. The second is to associate a peer, that is, the IP address of the one interface of the router with which you want to create the VPN. Then you are going to create identity where can stipulate where the communication will be established through certificate or shared key, and then establish a proposal that will tell us how phase 2 is going to be established. And finally, we are going to also create a policy in which we will scale all of the adopted by established private networks. That is, the communication that will be established between T sides. With it clear then, let's go to M1. The first thing we are going to do is go to the IP section. Then we are going to click on the IPsec part. In here, as you are seeing it, you will have all the sections that we had described previously. First, we configure a profile. In this case, it will be called MVPN M1. In authentication algorithm, it's going to be 1. The PRF algorithm leaves is with automatic. In the encryption algorithm will be 3 dash. In AES 1 to 8. Obviously, the more complex its algorithm is, the more security it will provide, but it also have an impact on the performance of the router. The Diffie-Hellman group will be with case of group 2 and group 14. In the transversal NAT, we are going to disactivate as since we have direct connectivity with the one IP address of the destination. With the configured, click and apply and then an OK. The second step is to configure the peer. The names will be repeat VPN M1, and in this address pair you will put the remote address, which is in case is 201.0.0.2, and the local address is not always necessary, but it's a good practice I at least always did, which is the 198.0.0.2. We associate the previous profile. In exchange mode, you will choose the option in which version 2 can be aggressive. It can be mild, but at least always recommend if you have the IKE2 option enabled, you choose this option over the rest now, which is the safest. The first point will be to configure the identity in the peer option. You must choose the previous option that you configure, and here you only need to establish the authentication method. As we had said, you can choose certificate or pre-compatible password. In this case, the simplest and most common thing is to use one pre-shared password that will 162. Of course, I will always recommend that for real scenarios you establish stronger password, but for occasional scenarios like this, one is more than valid. The fourth step is to establish the proposal. Will have name and will be the authentication data. encryption, and so on by default. You want to change it? Of course you can do it, but at least consider that for this laboratory and methodology, the encryption and authentication that is used is more than acceptable. You are using it to be 1 and AES 128. Finally, there is to configure the policy, which basically consists of associating the proposal with the site that are going to establish communication. So at the origin, you put the IP address of your network, which is in my case is 10.0.0.10.0, with the 24-bit mask in the destination network 10.0.20.0. If you apply the change, you will realize that although everything is configured correctly. Phase 2 is tell us no recap because we have to configure the other router with which we're going to do it. In here, basically, what we're going to do is simple replicate on the form of a mirror everything what we had configured in the M1. The profile is going to be called with the same name. I am only going to change the M1 for M2. The encryption and group of DH will exactly likewise in the form of a mirror. The peer is configured. Remember that we are using exchange mode IKE2. The identity, the password is from 1 to 6 and the proposal remains exactly the same since we are configured it with the default values. An interesting detail is that at this point phase 1 has already been established. It's under here the statute indicates that it's a been established size the remote size as respond. So all that remains is to configure the proposal and associate it with this policy. For this, let's go. Let's go to the policy section and on the form of a mirror we simply associate our peer. We activate the tunnel mode flag to have greater security and we also establish the origin and destination of the VPN site and the action section you must associate the proposal and once you have applied a couple of seconds will pass and you see here. Phase 2 is already established, so the VPN is already up. You will surely wonder, at this moment we will have connectivity between these sites? The answer is not. An important detail that you must take into account when configuring MIKROTIK equipment is that once and even if you have set up a VPN session, you must also configure the native rules or NAT rules so that there is connectivity between the sites since at this moment the router is nothing on the traffic coming from the LAN, which missing two other rules in the navigation so that the interesting traffic that occurs between the sites is not swimming but simply goes from the origin to the destination. And you see here in general section establish the origin and destination of the sites, and from the action section you are going to place the flag indicator here and apply the change. Of course, make sure that this rule is before NAT, otherwise you will not be able to have any type of functionality. Finally, I'm going to do to piece 1 and after checking the IP address you will see that I have absolutely connectivity with the PC2 located within the M2 site, which shows that the VPN has been successfully set up and the traffic between the sites is fully operational. If you look, it is quite easy. Just remember this tip: you must configure and never forget the NAT rule. Now, what happens if I have Cisco equipment with a methodology? You will find out that in the video you see here.